Next one we're going to look at is number 9, and in section 3b here, factor each completely. So the first thing you always want to check for when you're asked to factor completely is, can you take a common factor out of all the terms? Whether you're starting with 2 terms or 3 terms, doesn't really matter. And if you notice on number 9, I have an n in common in that binomial. I can take an n out. And then I'm left, opposite of the distributive property, n times n will be here. And then if I take an n out of my minus 9n, I'm left with that. Now, what's left in that binomial inside there is not factorable any further, so that's as far as you can go factoring completely on number 9. Let's go over to number 16. So number 16 here. On number 16, notice we have v cubed minus 2v squared minus 15v. I have a common factor of v that I can take out. So you always want to take out the common factor. Sometimes you can take out a number, sometimes you can take out a variable, sometimes a variable and a number. In this case, then I'll be left with v squared minus 2v minus 15. Okay, now, on that last problem I just did, we were done after we took out the common factor because what was inside parentheses wasn't factorable. Now I have a trinomial left. And if you remember, you learned how to factor these in prior classes. This is a trinomial that's got v squared, v in a number term. So you do product and sum. So let's review that right now. I've got a 1v squared, so my a is 1. We call it AC factoring. And then remember, b is what's in front of the variable term in the middle. So I do 1 times negative 15. So I'm looking for 2 numbers that have a product of negative 15 because I did a times c. A is what's in front of v squared, c is your number term. And I want a sum of what b is. B is what's in front of the variable to the first power term. So I want a sum of negative 2. So I thought to think about 2 numbers that multiply to a negative 15, that add or sum to a negative 2. And my 2 numbers are negative 5 and positive 3. So what you do with those 2 terms is I split my minus 2v term into minus 5v and plus 3v. You carry down your squared term, or what we call the quadratic term, v squared. You carry down your constant or number term, which is that. Okay, now you factor by grouping, like what we did in part A of this section. I'm going to group these 2 together. I'm going to take a v out, and I'm left with v minus 5. I'm going to group these together. Now my third term is positive there, so I'm going to take out a positive 3, and I'm left with v minus 5. Those 2 match now, so my 2 binomials are v minus 5 and v plus 3. Now you got to be very careful on one where you took a common factor out first, which we did up here. This v right here that we factored out originally needs to come down here and be in front of the 2 binomials. You can't just give the 2 binomials as your answer. So it's v, and then the binomial v minus 5 inside parentheses, and the binomial v plus 3 inside parentheses. So when you factor completely, it's not just the 2 binomials at the end.